Did you realize you had the key all along, or is that not a realization? Do you know that you have the key to let yourself out of whatever cage you feel like you're trapped in? But it's really all about the decision. Today, we're going to talk about why you keep choosing the cage and one question that can help you get out finally. And we're centering this conversation on the devil card in tarot. It is the card that totally freaks people out if they don't know tarot and they pull the card for the first time. Nobody wants the devil. And of course, it can't mean anything good, but we know that's not true. I know that's not true. And if you don't know that, you're about to know that. All right. So today we are talking about choosing the cage. You already know you hold the key. You don't need me to tell you that. And we're going to explore the devil and what that has to do with it. Welcome in. I'm Sarah, founder of the Sisters Enchanted. Been bringing self-trust and magic and natural seasonal rhythms and power and possibility, presence, passion to women online since 2016 through my holistic witchery program, Enchanted Journey membership, and uh, content just like this. Today, let's talk about this cage that is represented in the devil card. So it's not actually a cage usually, it's usually chains that are chaining somebody in. And the idea is with the devil card that we must realize that we hold the key to let ourselves out, that the chains aren't as hard and fast as we thought they were, and we have everything within us to get free. Now, I don't think if you're watching this, that's not a message that's new to you. You have been told over and over and over again that you have what it takes. You hold the key to getting out of whatever it is that feels stuck right now. And no matter where you are in life, I mean, life can be great. My life is amazing. And yet there are areas that I feel really stuck, or I feel like I know I should make a choice, or I should maybe say something or do something different, but I'm sort of caged to the status quo. And I know in the past, I have found myself more in more circumstances like that than I do now, certainly. And part of that is not realizing I hold the key. And just like you don't need to be told you hold the key. It's in understanding that it's a choice. And it is our choice to use the key and understand why we're afraid to do that. Understand why we just keep ourselves locked up or voluntarily returning to those chains over and over and over again, returning to that cage. And for so many of us, that comes down to comfort. What we know feels comfortable. The unknown is uncomfortable. So, do we stick with the devil we know or the devil we don't? And we are talking about that devil today. And that's part of that. Do we stick with the devil we know or the devil we don't? We also attach our identities to so many areas of our life, and unattaching, removing those chains, stepping out of that cage, that feels really strange and it's really unknown. And who are you if you aren't this thing? Who are you if you know, shake things up? If you're no longer attached to whatever it is that's feeling not super great. In my life, a few years ago, I have a family member that is challenging to be in relationship with. This family member is sort of aloof, a little emotionally detached, can be very self-centered in terms of not not reaching out, not starting conversations, and like kind of wanting everybody to be the initiator and do things, and has expectations. And when those expectations aren't met, like the specific way that this person thinks, can really become sort of cold and not really nice. And I have a history with this person where this person has treated, me not so well in the past and said hurtful things and taken hurtful actions. And we were actually estranged for a few years. But then over time, this person came back into my life and things had changed a little bit, but that underlying, like, this is not a great relationship to be in. I sort of came back up again. And a few years ago during COVID and, all the things happening, we kind of lost touch again. I had sent a few text messages and I could see myself wanting to sort of chase and say, why, let's get together. Let's have a family dinner. Let's do something. This is a family member. Let's get, I found myself sort of coming back to that cage, rechaining myself to the situation. And I think that was happening because I was afraid of being the person who was bad in the situation. If I'm the person who doesn't make it happen and I'm the person who allows the estrangement to occur, what does that mean about me? What does that mean about my identity? We had developed, it's a family member. So we have relationships, my husband, my children, and that's uncomfortable. What do I say to my kids when we just don't see this person anymore? And then, of course, this person has a differing point of view of the situation than I do, and my desire to want to sort of like clear my name and have a phone call about it. And I really had to come back to not realizing I hold the key. I do know that it was always me who could let myself out, not answer the phone, not go or make the call, whatever. But it was more about having to choose to be free of the situation. Not, I have the key, I know I have it. It's choosing to be free of the situation, because the fear of what happens on the other side and what it means about us and the loss of identity, the discomfort can, even though we have the key, lead us to use that key to just lock ourselves back up again. And we can see that lesson in the devil card. So here it's the decision. It's about the decision rather than realizing you have the key. So let's talk about this in a couple of devil cards. I have the traditional sort of standard Rider-Waite-Smith deck where you got two naked folks chained together with the devil perched above them, and the devil's got the fiery torch. But what we see here in the traditional sort of imagery is that the chains binding the two people are very loose. They could just pick them up and like put them like a necklace almost, and just pull it over their head. They are not confined there. And that is that representation to us that it's not remembering you even have the key. It's just choosing to allow yourself to be free, right? Choosing to allow yourself to be free. But how uncomfortable that is. These figures in this card, who knows how long they've been there for? Who knows what they've become comfortable in? Who knows what are they afraid of the consequences of letting themselves be free? Are they afraid of the judgment? Are they afraid of maybe they revere this devil and they're afraid to change their identity around that. And then I have another card here, and this one is from the Sci-Fi tarot, and I think it's so interesting. I got this card deck over the summer at a bookshop in Bar Harbor, Maine. And this card, it says, a machine perfectly engineered for enslavement, the devil. And it pictures two figures who are, again, nude, and they're facing this like big old school sci-fi looking computer that takes up like a whole wall. And I love it. I love this card so much. And I think it's so timely for us and our cell phones and social media and AI and all of the things. And this is the Sci-Fi tarot, but a machine perfectly engineered for enslavement, the devil. And, they're not even bound. They're not tethered. There's no chains. There's nothing. And if they turn away and make the decision to leave, what does that mean about their future? What does it mean about leaving their curiosity behind? What are they attached to with this big sci-fi wall-sized machine that they are looking at? And you even in this card, you see the male figure gazing over at the female figure, and she's sort of taking a step forward towards it. And I wonder if there is that too. We can think about how our identity is in relationships. So in the traditional card where these people are loosely tethered, what does it mean if they choose a different identity? And here, possibly we could consider, what does it mean if he chooses a different identity? Is he choosing the identity to go all in with her who's approaching the machine? Or is he going to choose something different? I don't know. What's he thinking? I don't know. I'm just looking at it and thinking about choice and thinking about identity attachment and comfort and fear. And then I grabbed another card. This is from the Mythical Mystic Tarot by Amira Burgos. Her company is Push Kitty. I just love her decks. So Push Kitty, like kitty cat. Push Kitty. If you give that a Google search, and in this card, these figures are actually tightly chained on the neck, and the devil figure is holding a torch or like a fire in his hand, and the figures who are being held they're like emaciated, they're bleeding, it's super unpleasant. But the chains are tethered to the chair. So they're like drilled into the chair. And it gives the indication that the chair is made out of wood. And they do have lots of slack though. So in all of this time, the question can be, why did they not choose? There's two of them. They've got lots of slack there to burn that chair down. Why did they not choose to, make something happen, make some noise? And, it could be like, we can let our practical, logical minds come in and say, well, then they could get injured, or maybe like he's stronger, he's the devil, whatever. But we're looking at this thematically. And what is it about this scenario? And he's actually like leisurely gazing off the devil. He's not even looking at them. He's not paying attention. So what is it about them that is causing them to choose to stay in that position as opposed to to moving forward, to making the choice to move forward and allow themselves that freedom? And that is the thing, allowing ourselves freedom. That is, I really think, the message in the devil card for people who already realize they have the key. And that's what I love about tarot though too, is the message is change as you change. And learning to understand and play with tarot is such a powerful practice, as opposed to just learning tarot, playing with tarot. But so many of you here, if you're here, I bet you already know you have the key. That's not news to you. It's the decision to allow yourself the freedom, and what keeps you in the same circumstance. Probably that fear of identity loss. It's comfortable to be where you know everything already. Fear of the unknown, fear of the unknown. So a tarot spread for you, an idea for a tarot spread. I've got 3 cards if you want to pull some cards or use these as journal prompts. And the first question would be, what am I getting from staying? So use that as a tarot card position in a spread. What am I getting from staying? You could also just ask yourself that and then go for a walk. But question 1, what am I getting from staying? And you could check the notes of the episode for these as well. Question 2, what am I afraid I'll lose if I leave? What am I afraid I will lose if I leave? Ugh, that one hits. Question 3, who I become when I finally walk away. Who I become when I finally walk away. And these can be, you can apply these to big circumstances in life or small ones. Maybe it's just thinking about like cutting your hair really short after it's been long forever, or coloring it, So what are you getting from staying the way you are? And what are you afraid you'll lose if you leave your current style? And who do you become when you finally walk away from that attachment to what is? And then one big question that I think we can all carry with us in our back pocket to break the spell that the devil and the fear of identity loss, the fear of unknown has on us. What would I do if I weren't afraid of being free? What would I do if I weren't afraid of being free? That is a big, powerful question. And that is one to ask yourself when you're feeling like you need to break the spell of the devil and being constrained and you're not allowing yourself that freedom. All right. I love this topic. I love tarot. So thinking about the devil and where you're being like really the holder of that in your life right now. It's one of the most misunderstood cards of tarot, I think, for beginning tarot readers and people who get tarot readings. Everyone's always afraid of the devil, but nothing to be afraid of there. Nothing to be afraid of except for our own selves. We have a resource. It is Tarot Spreads, Bad Cards of Tarot, Bad Boys of Tarot, I forget what I named it. I made it years ago, but we're going to link that up for you as well. And these spreads, actually, they take the most confronting cards from tarot And the card is actually part of the tarot spread. So there's the card and then you pull cards around it. So the confronting card is incorporated in the tarot spread, which is pretty cool. And we've got that resource for you as well. All right, y'all. Well, if you love what you hear here, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. It's come out weekly, typically on Thursdays. Check the notes description for any information and how to get your hands on that tarot spread PDF. All right, y'all, let us know too if you pull the cards. How did the card spread go for you? And answer that question maybe. What would you do if you weren't afraid of being free? Oh, what would I do if I wasn't afraid of being free? I would travel more, probably. I'd travel more. I'm going to look at that one. All right. Until next time, y'all, thank you so much for being here and stay magic, Enchanted Sister.